Gaslighting is like your significant other insisting you forgot your anniversary, even though you're sure it's next month. You start doubting your own memory, feeling confused until you double-check and realize you were right all along. It's a real mind game. Love bombing is like getting hit by a tsunami of affection you didn't see coming. Imagine someone floods you with texts, surprise gifts, and all-day plans right after you meet. It feels amazing until you realize they're using this love storm to pull you under their control. It's a whirlwind romance that's actually a sneaky power play. Triangulation is like suddenly having a guest star in your one-on-one friendship, making you feel like you're losing your spot on the show. Imagine your bestie starts constantly raving about someone new in front of you, stirring up a mix of jealousy and confusion. It's a sneaky move to make you question where you stand, turning your duo into a tense trio without your consent. Negging is like giving a compliment that doesn't feel like one. Imagine someone says, "I love how you don't care about looking perfect," implying it's good you're not trying because you couldn't achieve perfection anyway. It sounds like praise, but actually chips away at your confidence, making you crave their approval even more. It's a sneaky way to make you feel less, so they can have more control. Fog is like being guilt-tripped into a marathon you never signed up for. Imagine your friend saying, "You'd really let me down if you didn't help me move this weekend," after you've made plans. Suddenly, you're running on a track of fear, obligation, and guilt, wondering how you got there. It's emotional blackmail dressed up as a favor. The silent treatment is like being ghosted in real life. Imagine after a small argument, your friend decides you're invisible. No replies, no eye contact, nothing. It's a quiet game of you're in the wrong, leaving you scrambling to get back on their radar. It's the ultimate silent showdown. Projection is like blaming your friend for eating the last slice of pizza when you're the one with tomato sauce on your face. It's a "it wasn't me" game, but with emotions and behaviors you don't want to own up to. Victim playing is like someone tripping on purpose and then blaming the sidewalk to get out of running a race. They turn a small stumble into a dramatic saga, aiming to win your sympathy and get special treatment, all while sidestepping any real responsibility. It's a performance where they're always the star in distress and you're cast as the rescuer. Hoovering is like getting a miss you text full of old jokes and compliments from an ex, just as you start enjoying single life. It's their way of using nostalgia and sweet talk to reel you back into the drama, turning a clean break into a messy rewind. Moving the goalposts is like playing a game where the rules keep changing just as you're about to win. You think you've done everything right, then suddenly, oops, we need one more thing. It's a frustrating loop of trying, thinking you're almost there, and then being told the target has shifted. Again, it's like chasing a mirage that moves every time you get close. Breadcrumbing is like getting occasional thinking of you texts from someone who never actually plans to meet up. It's the emotional equivalent of snack-sized promises that never lead to a full meal. You're left hungry for more, chasing crumbs of affection that lead nowhere. Guilt tripping is like getting a "but I thought we were friends" message when you choose me time over hangout time. It's a crafty way of making you second-guess your choices by serving you a guilt sandwich, all to sway your decisions their way. Overwhelming is like someone throwing a dozen tennis balls at you and expecting you to catch them all. Imagine being bombarded with tasks, questions, and information all at once. It's a storm of "do this, remember that, respond here," until you're so swamped, you just nod along to make it stop. This tactic wears you down, making it easier for the other person to steer you in the direction they want, simply because you're too tired or confused to resist. It's a flood designed to sweep you off your feet, not with persuasion, but with sheer volume. Isolation is like being on an island where the only bridge back is controlled by someone else. Imagine someone gradually steering you away from friends and family under the guise of spending more quality time together. Over time, you find yourself more and more cut off from your usual support network, making the manipulator the main, if not only, source of companionship and support. This tactic increases your dependence on them, as they've effectively become your only link to social interaction, leaving you vulnerable and under their influence. Flattery is like being showered with compliments that feel too sweet, all aimed at softening you up for a favor that's about to be asked. Imagine someone always telling you how amazing, smart, and indispensable you are, laying it on thick. Just when you're basking in the glow, they hit you with, "Since you're so incredible, could you do this big favor for me?" It's a slick way of using praise to make you more likely to agree to something, not because you want to, but because you've been buttered up and feel almost obliged to return the favor. Double binding is like being asked whether you'd prefer to clean the house with a toothbrush or without gloves. Either way, you're stuck with an unpleasant task that benefits the other person. Imagine someone saying, "Would you rather pay for dinner tonight or just admit you're too stingy to treat your friends?" Both choices put you in a bad light or force you into doing something you don't want to, cleverly cornering you into a situation where the manipulator wins no matter what you choose. It's a tricky way of making you feel like you have a say, when in reality, you're being steered towards an outcome that was never in your favor. Mirroring is like someone copying your homework but in the way you interact with the world. Imagine meeting someone who, strangely, laughs like you, picks up your slang, and even starts liking the same obscure band you're into. At first, it feels like finding your long-lost twin, creating an instant bond, but it's actually a tactic some use to get closer to you by reflecting your own behaviors and preferences back at you. This imitation game is played to win your trust and make you feel a deep connection, making it easier for them to influence or persuade you because it feels like they just get you. Devaluation is like someone constantly telling you your best efforts are just not good enough. Imagine every time you share an achievement, someone responds with, "Well, it's okay, but it's not as impressive as what insert name did." Or they might constantly critique your work, your appearance, or your ideas, subtly or overtly suggesting that you don't measure up to others. This relentless critique wears down your self-esteem, making you doubt your worth and abilities. It's a tactic used to keep you feeling insecure and seeking approval, making it easier for the person using devaluation to control or manipulate you. Idealization is like someone painting you as a superhero in a story where only they know your superpowers. Imagine being constantly praised as the perfect partner, friend, or colleague, placed on a pedestal so high that the air feels thin. This person showers you with admiration, convincing you that you're unparalleled in every way, making you feel incredibly special. However, the catch is that this image is so idealized it's not sustainable. You're expected to live up to an impossible standard, creating a pressure that ties you. Ambiguity is like getting a maybe to every plan you suggest, leaving you unsure where you stand. Imagine trying to make plans with someone who always replies with, "We'll see," "possibly," or "let's play it by ear." They never say yes, but they also never say no, keeping their intentions as cloudy as a foggy morning. This lack of clarity means they never fully commit to anything, which lets them dodge responsibility if things go south. You're left in a perpetual state of limbo, unable to make solid plans or understand what they really want. It's a way of keeping all options open, without ever having to take a definitive stance. Forced teamwork is like being roped into a group project where you didn't get to choose your team. Imagine someone always insists on partnering with you for every assignment, task, or decision, under the guise of teamwork makes the dream work. However, their real motive is to keep a close eye on you, ensuring you're aligned with their goals or methods. This creates an artificial sense of obligation, as you're made to feel that going solo or disagreeing is not an option. It's a strategy used to maintain control and ensure compliance by making you feel like you're part of a team effort, even if your input or independence is stifled. Financial abuse is like being given an allowance in your own home, where you have to ask for every penny. Imagine your partner controlling all the money from your salary to the household budget, deciding what you can or cannot buy. They might give you just enough for basic needs, if that, making you ask for money for anything extra. This control isn't just about money, it's about power. By restricting your access to finances, they make you dependent on them for everything, from groceries to personal items, effectively clipping your wings and limiting your freedom to make independent choices or leave the situation. It's a tactic used to keep you in a tight grip under the guise of managing finances. Rapid commitment is like being rushed to sign a contract without reading the fine print. Imagine someone pushing you to make a big decision quickly, like moving in together after just a few dates or investing in a project with little information. They create a sense of urgency, saying things like, "We don't want to miss this chance," or "It's now or never." This pressure tactic is designed to sweep you off your feet, making it hard to pause and think critically about what you're agreeing to. The goal is to get you committed before you have time to consider potential downsides or consult with others, often leading to decisions you might not have made with more time and information. Withholding information is like playing a card game where you can't see all your cards. Imagine someone gives you advice or instructions, but they leave out key details that could change your decisions. For instance, a friend might suggest a job opportunity but omit that it's known for long hours and low pay, or a partner decides on a big purchase without discussing the financial impact. By controlling what you know, they shape your choices and perceptions, steering you toward what benefits them or fits their agenda, all while you are unaware of the full picture. It's a strategy to maintain the upper hand by manipulating your understanding and actions based on incomplete information. Feigned helplessness is like someone claiming they can't cook to avoid making dinner, even though they're fully capable. Imagine a scenario where every time there's a task to be done, a person insists they're just not good at it, hoping you'll step in and take over. Whether it's fixing something around the house or dealing with paperwork, they play the "I can't possibly figure this out" card. This act of pretending to be helpless is a tactic to dodge responsibilities and get others to do the work, all while maintaining an image of innocence or incompetence. It's a way of leveraging sympathy or frustration to their advantage, ensuring they're never the one to shoulder the burden. Cognitive dissonance is like being convinced to eat meat at a barbecue when you've always advocated for vegetarianism. Imagine you're presented with arguments about the benefits of meat, peer pressure, or even just the smell of grilled food, making you question your long-held beliefs. You might find yourself justifying why it's okay just this once, despite feeling uncomfortable because your actions don't match your values. This mental conflict arises when you're pushed into aligning your behavior with beliefs that don't naturally fit together, leading to a sense of internal unrest and confusion as you try to reconcile these opposing thoughts. It's a powerful psychological state where you're caught between what you've always believed and what you're currently doing, compelling you to either change your actions or adjust your beliefs to ease the tension.